Yeah, like I was saying, the ruler method versus dropping it on the floor. Either way, you're going to be straightening out a lot of kinks. I'm used to doing the I7s and the I9s, so I just found during that time it was easier to snake that big coil through the 0 point than do the ruler. But it's easier and harder. Depends on the person. You'll find your own flow. But like I said, if you can find a Taurus with bigger grooves, so you don't have to like Dremel hella deep to get a bigger coil that usually goes on the Taurus on, definitely follow my steps here. All right, guys, I'm gonna do one more glaze here. Very excited. I just wanted to say thank you guys for everyone who has financially supported me for these courses and for this information. I thank you so much. And if there is any questions you guys have, drop a question in the comments and let me know, because I am going to go ahead and now move on to the pairing process. But just checking everything. And you guys see that hole there, that gap? No worries, when we glaze this over, it's going to fill that up and you won't even be able to tell there's a hole there. Gonna get a nice case for it. Damn. Look at that, man. That Starship's bigger than this. Damn. I just want to thank you guys. I mean, I'm cracking out on this energy, man. One thing I want to say is that Albert Einstein said energy cannot be created nor destroyed. False. False. Energy can be created, but it cannot be destroyed. Energy can be created, but it cannot be destroyed. It can only be transferred and transformed into a new form. But energy can absolutely be created. And one of the reasons why Orgonite is such an important lesson here is because when you take quartz crystals and metals and then you stick them into a shape and that resin squeezes the living fucking soul, which is the piezoelectricity, the energy from the quartz crystal, there is now more energy that is being produced in that dimension and timeline that you're in than once was before. Because all of these elements are just out there in the earth waiting to be grabbed, and when we put them under pressure, now there's more piezoelectricity, there's more energy being created through a compressive squeeze with quartz crystals and conductivity, minus sign, plus sign, positive, baby, battery. So I think I wanted to say this because it's like you'll pour the Taurus, and if you're using fiberglass and Bondo, you'll pour the Taurus in the molds. We'll cover that here soon. And you can feel it as the Bondo starts curing into both halves. You can feel it producing energy, guys. You're just like, whew, it's very stimulating and uplifting. And then you put the Taurus together, pour the middle pour, so it's a whole Taurus, and it starts squeezing and curing, and this is it starts becoming more powerful. So you're already like made a piece of Orgonite that you can feel, that you can benefit off of, and see the effects it has on the space-time continuum and other humans and nature and pets and all that shit. There's a lot that Orgonite does. And so then you make the Rodin coil and you twist the copper, and I've noticed that once you wrap the Taurus, it gets even more powerful. And then it's heavier, then it's like, wow, I'm holding it, this is very powerful. So once the Rodin coil is even on the Orgonite, it gets even more powerful. Even not doing the powering, that's why I don't like to. Epoxy is very powerful, guys, but I've been squeezing with Bondo for 10 years, and when I first started Orgonite, I just went straight to the Bondo. A lot of people, and then when I started using epoxy, it's like I don't feel anything. Not that epoxy doesn't do anything, it's just that my tolerance was on such a high level already with the Bondo Orgone that it's like smoking really strong weed and getting a tolerance to it and smoking it, and then it's like it doesn't even get you high anymore. And then you try to smoke like a less powerful weed that is still weed, that still gets you high, but your tolerance is just so fucking high that you're like, this isn't doing anything. You know, that's the example I'd give it to you. So epoxy orgonite's great. If you do epoxy toruses, make sure you make that like Thor's hammer, dense with metals, dense with... Epoxy orgonite can be very powerful if you just spam the living fucking fuck. You spirit bomb the fuck. You put the most metals, the most crystals. You want to pick up your epoxy torus and be like, holy shit. Then it can start really doing what the Bondo's doing. But with Bondo, I put so much in there, but you don't have to put all that to produce the power that you're looking for. That's why I like it. And so, yeah, as we pair it, it becomes more powerful. As we test it and activate it, it becomes more powerful. As we hook it up to the amplifier and raise the power levels, it becomes more powerful. Then as we start using it as a device, it becomes more powerful. Put it in another person's hands, it becomes more powerful. It's out there in the world now, it becomes more powerful. So I just say this because I thank you guys for being on this journey with me. I've just noticed that every step and process that you do on one of these things, it just becomes more powerful. And then there is more energy in your dimensional space-time continuum, because you're the Xbox who creates this world in GTA you're experiencing. And in the world of GTA, being created by the Xbox console that you are, you've taken all these elements, squeezed them, produced energy, put a coil around this, produced energy, and there is now more energy in your timeline than once was before. So Albert Einstein was wrong. Energy can be created. I would not be an orgonite creator. Orgonite would not exist. The technology would not work of orgonite. No one would feel the energy. No one would experience the benefits. If Einstein was correct, that energy cannot be created. Orgonite is almost more powerful than the PEMF, but together they're even more powerful together. Because with the rodent coil, you need a power source, you need DC, AC from the wall frequency, you need to turn it on for it to emanate the magnetic field. But just this being a piece of orgonite, because there's that constant squeeze on the quartz crystals, grounded with the conductivity of the metals you put inside, it becomes a battery like orgonite that releases energy all the time. So it doesn't have to be plugged in. So once you squeeze and it hardens, there's more energy produced. And orgonite lifts timelines. So now your vibration has rose like a bank account because you started squeezing orgonite, and then you start shifting realities and time jumping and attracting goodness and just, you know what I mean? People are like, what does it do? I'm like, I gotta write a book about this shit. However, guys, thank you. Welcome to now the pairing of the Taurus that I'm gonna take you in. If you've made it this far, you should be very proud of yourself. This energy and technology is calling out to you for a reason. It means you've risen your frequency to this technology. So without further ado, let's pair this, all right?